Oh no.
On that note, guys, we'll move on to the next point. We're going to kind of look at it more from a playing standpoint, if we can remember as far back as, when football was going on in the country. We're going to look at the leagues now, how they looked, if teams at the bottom or teams who have, been affected in terms of their league statuses and stuff. If they were right to do so at the time. So, you look at the Premier League, Premiership even. At the top, you're looking at Celtic with 13 points clear at the time of the stoppage. Rangers had a game in hand. We believe that was St Johnstone at home, like you said, Sean. And then at the bottom, you're looking at Hearts with 4 points behind Hamilton. Both play the same amount of games. It was 3 games to go before the split at this point. So Hearts going to Celtic. Well, first of all, Celtic being champions if the season doesn't continue. Do we all agree that's been about right? Facing the season.
Nah, not for me. Not for me.
Think Rangers were a step back?
Not for me. I think it's like what I said earlier. You can't class yourself as a champion if you've not won it outright. So, like, if you've won 75% of the games, like, and I think, like, with Celtic and Rangers and how competitive they are, the whole 10 in a row thing's just got to be tainted from here on out. Do you know what I mean?
There's going to be a lot of, I completely agree.
I think, yes, there's a chance, but the fact there's 2 old firms and a game in hand, it then takes it to 3 points.
Very big if.
But like what I said, you're never going to know.
Yeah.
Sure, but then you can't get Liverpool.
Can't be spot on.
I think you'd be champions if you couldn't mathematically be caught. Like, I seen that thing, you know how the FA down south cut all the tiers. I think it was at National League and down.
Yeah,
that Jersey.
Below that.
Yeah, so my friend plays for the Jersey Bulls, right? And they were like, they'd won every game. They were going like unbeaten. And because they'd done that, they're obviously not going to win their league, so they've got to stay in that league again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you were mathematically clear, I think it's only fair. But then I'm a bit like, you can't be like, oh, give Celtic the league and then relegate Hearts. Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit like, or not relegate Hearts. You do know what I mean?
At hand, yeah. That's the main issue. But you can't do that with the top flight. And you've got to bring, if you're going to send all the winners up, then you're going to have 13 in top flight. So that's where you're going to have to think about the restructuring and stuff. But, so, yeah, it's a fair point. Anyone else got thoughts? Obviously, Rangers are a little bit unsure. County's a little bit unsure about it. Lewis, Sean, any other thoughts?
I think
Celtic winning the league.
Yeah, Don, you go.
So, in my view, Celtic are fully deserving to be champions.
Oh, here we go! Here we go! Oh, God! The biggest communion in football has arrived. Here he comes. He sits with a St Johnstone top on and waves his Celtic flag.
So I believe that if you have a gap of around 9 points or more at this stage of the season, I believe that is enough to constitute you deserving of that position. And for me,
that is the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard. I'm sorry.
Don, you're trying to tell me that places 4 to 12 in the SPFL are undeserving. Every place between 4 and 12, there's no 9 points between any of those teams, so all of them are unstable positions.
Celtic were not winning that league. They had, since January, the difference in Rangers has been remarkable. And you just have to have a bit of perspective here and just admit they were deserving champions this year. They've been a better team consistently, and the points prove that. And the league should be theirs, in my opinion.
I think it changes. Yeah. It changes when you get to the split. Like, Hearts have been absolutely terrible all season, right? But I thought we'd stay up. The minute it comes to the split and it's like head to head, I think we would have stayed up, and on the back of that, because the split completely changes it all. So I think that does it for the top half and the bottom half. So if Rangers something like put a run together and got the couple of old firms, I think they would have. It certainly wouldn't be as big a gap by the end of the season, in my opinion. Anyway.
I think I agree with you, Ken. I think Hearts going head to head. That's pretty much what I was trying to say earlier. If Hearts go head to head with the bottom six, I think they'll stay up. But I think we can't really argue at the moment that Hearts deserve to be where they are at the moment. They've been
based on the majority of the season, but that's where the whole split thing completely changes. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. Yeah.
4 out of 30 games in the league all season.
Yeah. I've watched Hearts a few times. I think they put good performances against Hibs, Rangers, and Celtic. And apart from that, I don't think they've turned up all season. And I think that's the disappointing thing you probably have from a Hearts point of view. I think the person that will be most relieved about this coronavirus will actually be Steven Gerrard, because it probably saved his job, because he had such a minging turn to the year that, to be honest with you, this reflects on the fact that his team were so poor. He overreacted to that Celtic Park win, which he blatantly did, and since then he's been poor. He came and made down at the park, I remember that, in the 2-2 game, and I was disappointed not to get the win, to be honest with you. They were really, really bad, and he'll be relieved. It'll take the deflection off him and probably give him another season at it, because I think if that season continued the way the Rangers were going, he would have been struggling to hold on to his job by the end of the season.
Oh, no chance.
It was a Hamilton goal,
Ibrox. No matter what.
The one with basically the entirety of the back four are all looking at the ball as it comes towards them, and they just let it through them, and then the boy just runs through. I can't remember who it was. I think was it Okpo? Is it? I remember.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And if Pedro Caixinha, Mark Warburton, or Graham Murray had the form of Steven Gerrard since the turn of the year, they'd be out the door.
No, Sean, I agree, and also he has spent big money in the Scottish context on players. I mean, Kent was what, 7.5 million.
Yeah.
He should be up there challenging at the very least. And the moment there wasn't even a challenge when the league ended.
I think what you need to look at though is Rangers, right? If you look at Celtic and the players they've sort of brought through, McGregor, he signed Christie when he was young. I don't know how much he paid for Christie, but if you look at that, it's a bit like Forrest, Griffiths and that sort of thing, you know what I mean? Touchy, it's cool, still a touchy subject. The Lewis, look at him, he's like a picture of the dog in the background's about to get slammed. But I think that's the difference, is that if you look at what Lennon's done with Celtic, I don't know so much Lennon, maybe Rodgers as well had a bit of that, is that it's all young players that have played in the league. Whereas Rangers, you've got like Ojo, Ryan Jack, good enough's been there. There's no. It doesn't seem to be the same. It seems to be these players are coming up to Rangers for down south, rather than like sort of. I'd expect Rangers to do what they done years ago and take all.
Like there's no long-term planning. It's like they sign players to win the league this season. Celtic signed Christie, developed Forrest, etc. Armstrong to be there in future years. It's like Rangers wanted a quick fix by signing sort of players that were not even suited to the Scottish Premiership, I think.
Yeah, I think there is a big difference between the war leagues down south and up here. It's a completely different football. So I think that's
so different.
Right, so we'll move it off the top just now. So going down to the bottom, I know we've got obviously Cammy here, Hearts fan, obviously could be affected by that. We've talked about it before. 4 points. We kind of touched on it before, but Hearts were 4 points behind Hamilton with 8 games to play, 3 games before the split. There have been 5 games post-split as well. Yeah, we've kind of all said that Hearts probably would have stayed up given the teams that were in the bottom 6.
Apart from Dundee.
I genuinely believe Hearts would have finished 12th this season. I do believe that.
Okay, yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, you've got to look at what would the fixtures have been. Would there have been 3 home games to Hearts? Would there have been 2 home games to Hearts?
One thing against the bottom 6 teams, Hearts have recorded 0 wins this whole season, I think, or 1 win this whole season against the bottom 6 teams.
Yeah,
and I think that needs to be taken into
consideration. Still one against Hibs, though.
Well, you might have been playing Hibs. You could have been playing Hibs again, of course. You don't know. I mean, I know that obviously you were looking at St Johnstone 1 point behind Hibs, 6th and 7th. St Johnstone had that game in hand. I know they were at home to Hamilton on the last game before the split. And then
they were home to Hamilton, but they were also away to Celtic, away to Rangers, and away to Hibs. So for us, if the season was to finish and we're doing average points and we're going to jump above Hibs, that's a bit daylight robbery, to be quite honest with you.
But
then lost at Easter Road since 2012. I believe we would have won that game at Easter Road.
Yeah, we also got beat 7-0 at the start of the season, but at Celtic Park. Yeah. So we've got to take that into account as well.
So yeah, we've kind of touched upon that. Obviously we've had Don's opinion. He says that Hearts would have gone down anyway. Hamilton, Ross County, St Mirren, 27, 29 points.
I think Ross County are very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
They're a poor side.
I feel like
Ross County got on the slide, to be honest with you. I think St Mirren are good. I think St Mirren.
Hamilton would have survived regardless. They could have been rock bottom by like 10 points. They would have survived.
Yeah.
I think the main difference, if you look at the teams, the way Stendhal tries to make us play, it's very attractive football. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you look at that Hamilton team, like, it's so rigid and disciplined.
Yeah.
And it's literally like cliche Scottish football, like pump the ball up over the centre halves, and we've got quick players at that end of the pitch to run through and pat in. Do you know what I mean?
Very effective.
St Mirren are a bit the same, but they play better football, and I've not really seen much of Ross County, but that's the main difference, is we're trying to do like gegenpress football with players that
Christoph Bell.
The more used to defending, really, because Hearts' notorious style is basically, you know, sit back, and then you have destroyers in midfield that can break the game down, and then you fly forward from there. But obviously, you've potentially seen with what Hearts did last summer, with the likes of Jamie Walker coming back, Connor Washington coming in.
To be fair to Connor Washington,
play was potentially changing under Craig Levein at the start of the season.
I mean, Craig Levein shouldn't have started this season off. Like,
no
illusion. The whole reason we're in 12th place is because of Craig Levein and the wacky, like, signing. It's this thing again. It's a bit like a Rangers mentality. They're signing folk like Eddie White for down south. Eddie White hadn't played for 2 years or something before he came to Hearts. Why are we signing him? So it's like we sign all these big names down the line when they're like 32, 33, 34 and they're past it. And it's like for these big names trying to like hard onto the coattails of Celtic. I'd rather sign maybe a player like the Championship or something like that. I know we tried to do that with Callahan. That was just unlucky, like, coming through at the time. But I think, like, we need to do that a bit more. Maybe, like, pickpocket a couple of players further than the league. We're in 12th, but, like, instead of looking down south and going for big players, because you're under no illusion, the wage bill at Hearts now will be through the roof. Like, it's...
You've got Boyce on 6k a week, for instance.
Exactly, and the thing about Boyce is, like, he scored that goal against Rangers, and since then, what did they do? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just a bit like, I understand the way Stendhal's trying to play, and it's attacking football and things like that, but it is now what? When did Levein get sacked? The turn of the year?
November.
But, do you know the thing that messed us up was taking 2 months to win a point, or like a month, or a month and a half to point another person, like.
Yeah.
I'd love to see at Hearts obviously if we do go down, Stendhal's got that clause in his contract where he can just leave. I'd love to see another Hearts man come in and take it, like Gary Locke or somebody like that. Do you know what I mean?
Gary Locke.
I'd love to see a Hearts man take it rather than like
the answer. Trust.
The other one that got linked when Levein left was Paulo Sergio. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody like that, like a total Hearts man, like Paulo Sergio and then Gary Locke as assistant or something like that. Like I don't know what I see. Like I don't know, man. I'm maybe being overcritical, but I just think Stendhal's football isn't going to work in our league.
No, you're not being critical.
It's easy to just shank the ball up and over.
Challenging for third or fourth, the wage bill you've got.
I think you're right on the amount of time that Hearts took as well. If you look at Hibs with Jack Ross, like
it was quite similar.
They're kind of similar situation. Jack Ross came in so much earlier, and again, it wasn't easy, but he's managed to turn the team around. And look at them now compared to where yous are.
Yeah, I think that's what's let us down. Is that like Levein had us in such a rut. I don't know how. I think it sums it up that Levine's still at the club. Do you know what I mean? Is that he's still getting paid a wage off us somehow, but I think it's just I think from Cathro when he was in the director of football all the way to when he was sacked. I mean, he's still there now. Do you know what I mean? I understand that he's been a big servant to the club, but honest to God, man, that man cannot teach football.
It's like he's had his day, I think, and he was a good
like
manager.
A dinosaur. He genuinely is like a dinosaur in his football tactics.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll move it on from there, guys. We've all had our opinion about who could have gone down and gone to the second tier. Go to the top of the second tier. So you had Dundee United had played a game more than Inverness in second, but were 14 points clear at the time of the stoppage. They were pretty dominant, especially for the early middle parts of the season. Kind of stumbled a wee bit.
I think we're going to catch them, Patty. Sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there.
So you had
because I know what's coming, that you're going to say they deserve to be promoted, but they've not won the league. So
they were 14 points behind. Inverness had a game in hand. I think they had the Scottish Cup and the time away for Challenge Cup final to deal with.
Biscuit.
But, I think apart from maybe Lewis, we can maybe also Dundee United probably deserve to go up. Pressure, the resources they put in.
I won't give it Lewis. I want Robbo managing in the Premiership. If Hearts go down, I want Robbo there.
But John, what do you think?
Yeah, I believe they were consistently the league. Sorry, I was Sean, not Dot. Sorry, I believe that.
Sean, you forgot your name.
Must be this up here.
No,
that's fine.
Yeah, I think Dundee United probably was going to see that through. Again, you'll never know, but I would have said they probably deserve to be champions, to be honest with you. I think they wanted to go 10 in a row at one point in the middle of the season. And they were starting away, to be fair. They were struggling across the line, but they probably would have enough to see it through. I would still like to see reconstruction happening and Inverness going up as well. And I think the teams that were in second, third and fourth, I think they will feel slightly hard done by the fact they never got the chance to have a go at the playoff. I don't think you can grudge United the league over the course of the season, which it pains me to say.
Yeah. Well,
I can't wait to see. I want to see Warren Shanklin playing in the Premiership. I want to see what that boy's got in his locker.
Yeah. So just to clarify, second, third, and fourth, you had Inverness obviously 45 points. All played the same amount of games, 27 games. Dundee were 41, Ayr were 40. But then further down, you had Dunfermline, Arbroath, and Morton were in the mix, 3, 4 points in fourth place. So potentially a few teams that could have pushed for playoffs, but obviously playoff is kind of a null and void situation at the moment, given the scenario. So,
well, again, you've got a there that had 2 games in hand and could have got themselves into a playoff position as well.
The amount of teams that are so, like, you look at Arbroath, like, they were at the turn of the year, they were nowhere, like, they were struggling for relegation, and now you'd look at them as potentially getting into, well, maybe not, but they were down the wrong end of the table.
I can see what you mean.
Now you look at
them. But yeah, I mean, you look at Arbroath, obviously part-time team, won League One last season by a canter. Only Dundee and Dundee United lost less games than them this season. So, you know, they did done fairly well. They were 10 points above the bottom slot. So fair shout out.
And they've got a good, don't they?
Yeah, I think they're a bit of a surprise package, Arbroath, to be honest with you. I think there's a few surprises in the Championship, to be honest with you. I think Ayr, again, maintaining a good season after the one they had last season was pretty good going. Arbroath finishing 6th and probably higher because they had 2 games in hand over the teams above them.
Yeah.
Or the team above them. Queen of the South is a surprise. Queen of the South and Partick, I'm surprised they're down there, to be honest with you.
I thought Partick would have been challenging, to be honest.
Yeah, to get back in.
A few of their signings were a bit dodgy, do you know what I mean? They let they let a couple of what's the boy's name? the couple of strikers they had that they'd had for years. Chris
Doolan.
Doolan,
Yeah, he went to
Chris Erskine as well. I don't know when he left though, but
Well, he went to Livy, didn't he?
was it not Miles Stanley as well? Went to California. But I think that they still invested quite a hefty bit of money as well. You know, I think they bought a few players in January. We know. I mean, I mentioned the name there. Blair Lyons came in from Montrose. He was lining it up. Obviously, we all know him quite well as a Stirling Uni player.
Laser got him to sign his boots. He's gonna have a signed shirt.
Yeah, so it
should be hanging up there.
And it's also worth pointing out,
like what you've got, Cammy.
It's also worth pointing out. Harry Thistle had a bit of a sticky point. Was it start of the season? Just after the start of the season, they had the boy who won the Euro Millions was going to invest in the club, and then he unfortunately passed away. So that would have been a bit of a problem in the boardroom, I guess.
I do feel sorry for Partick Thistle, and the fact is that, as I say, in January they signed Zach Rudden. I'm pretty sure they signed Zach Rudden to Plymouth. They then signed on loan Darian McKinnon. So they were loading their team with guys who know how to get themselves out of trouble. And Darian McKinnon's folk like that. Because let's be honest, Darian McKinnon's in trouble every year with Hamilton. And he managed to get their out of it. So
Kenny Miller's been and gone.
I think they had the ability to do it. And I think Queen of the South and Alloa are the two teams that you probably look at and go, they would have been struggling if this season continued.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alloa very well coached to me. They seem at home especially a very, very tough team to beat.
Peter Grant.
Alloa are like the championship equivalent of Hamilton. Just never going down.
It does seem So do we all kind of think it would have been, I mean, you would have had 3 down there potentially going after it. Would we have thought Partick Thistle would have got out of it? There was 9 games for them to play.
I think they would have finished 9th first.
A couple of arguments to it. I think they would have got themselves out of it, but then again, they had a long enough from January to get themselves off the bottom, and they hadn't done it. So it's hard to tell. But I personally probably they would have. But it's again difficult to tell because they did have long enough since they signed those players to try and pull themselves up, which I thought they would, and they didn't. So yeah, it's hard to tell. But I would have said they would have.
Yeah. I was going to see if I could find
that. Paul Tupati, it was like strange. I thought he would have really turned it around. With Ayr, he did a spectacular job.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Because of his reputation.
Yeah, Ian McCall as well. Yeah, like no.
Yeah.
I wonder what went wrong in there. I wonder if the whole back behind the scenes was.
They brought back Alan Archibald, didn't they?
As the assistant, yeah.
Yeah. So again, because he was the one they got relegated under Archibald in the first place to the championship, right? In saying that, so
Archibald, he always seemed solid enough to me.
Well, yeah, I don't know if there's something behind the scenes happening but then again they brought back. So a difficult one. To be honest, the surprise package back to be there where they are. But then again, some of Falkirk when they went down. So
I think it's harsh.
Yeah, I think it's harsh for them to be relegated under these circumstances. But
even though they might have by themselves,
they're 2 points behind the game in hand. That's so. Yeah, if they played that game in hand against I think it was against us. I think it was against Cali.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because
the season.
Exactly. Yeah.
I find it wrong, right? That obviously the Premiership. Did the Premiership teams get to vote?
Yeah.
Premiership. Didn't they? So how are the Premiership teams voting for other people's leagues?
Because it would have affected them as well, because the vote also stated that if the Premiership could not restart within the country, and they decided there was no way to restart it, then the vote would mean that the league would finish the same way that the lower league had as well.
All right, okay.
So, we'll quickly move it on. Going down to League One, very tight title race at the top. Rafe are going to be confirmed as champions, 1 point clear of Falkirk. And Falkirk were flying high but did drop a lot of points. There's 10 draws in their 28 games as long as their 14 wins. they did have a goal difference of 36, so they were banging them in, but they did have their stumbling points throughout the season. So Raith finished 1 point clear.
That is hard.
Sounded like that Falkirk went on a bit of a resurgence before the suspension had happened.
The only difference between Falkirk and Raith is the fact that I think Falkirk won 14 games, Raith won 15, but I think Raith had lost more games.
Raith had lost one more game.
Yeah, Raith had lost more games, and Falkirk, I think it must have drawn 2 more then. I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yeah, so so Falkirk drew
10 and 8.
Unless.
So they've actually lost less games in the team that's gone up, and one less, and it's just baffling how it's worked. But
so bad. I think they've spent big money. Got McMillan from St Johnstone will be a sizable wage for them. I'm sure part of the loan deal they've got McManus and Salmon up front as well. They'll be on, I would imagine, good wage for one. So they've obviously spent money thinking promotion will be a good chance of getting it at least, and now it's obviously looking unlikely for them.
Well, you've got to look now at the sustainability of the squad they've got, and if you're looking further forward for them, there's no way they can hold on to players like
I remember Falkirk, when they went down, they got rid of the youth programme. So youth programme was too expensive, they were cutting costs. So they basically just got rid of the entire youth programme to save money, as far as I remember.
And they get crowds of like 4K, 4.5K in League One. They're a really big sized club.
Yeah. And it's also worth pointing out that you had there was 14 points between the top 2 in the Championship. There was 15 points between the top 6 in League One. And there was 8 points between the top 5. So you had Adrian 48, Montrose 47, who had won the same amount of games as Raith Rovers, but lost a lot more. And then East Fife, who were also in there, but they kind of fell away in the middle. But yeah, there's 8 points between the top 5. So you can argue that there was a toss-up between potentially more teams depending on how the runs played out. All of them had 8 games to play.
Even if none of them are getting near the title as well, like you could say anyone above Forfar really had a good chance of getting into playoffs. So
yeah, certainly Clyde in 7th. Peterhead maybe not so much, but yeah, I know exactly.
Peterhead are quite a bit behind.
I think was it East Fife in 5th? And
East Fife were in 5th and 45, 8 points behind the top.
Is it Clyde or Dumbarton in 6th? Is Dumbarton 6th?
Dumbarton was 7th. Dumbarton was 7 points behind East Fife.
They've got 7 points behind. So yeah, they aren't realistically going to get in to the club. They could still mathematically, but realistically, I don't think. I think you're looking from the top 5 there. You're looking for any of those to go up.
I just wanted to say it because it was Forfar, to be honest. But you're right. Peterhead's never getting anywhere near it.
We'll go on to that one. So the bottom end of League One, you're looking at Stranraer on 16 points with 8 points with a game in hand behind Forfar in 9th.
Peterhead. Forfar were got to get relegated.
I would say they were
down.
But it is worth pointing out that Stranraer had only won 2 games all season.
Aye, but Hearts only won double that.
So I'll stay at this one, but I personally think Stranraer would have been going down. I feel like Forfar would have probably finished. We were struggling in the middle part of the season. We were struggling to pick up points, so I think we would have just about stayed up and maybe gone into the playoffs.
To be honest, I'll happily take the Forfar one, having actually watched them against St Johnstone this season.
The Betfred Cup, that was brilliant being in that end.
I'm surprised. I was actually surprised they were in that position, having watched them that game. Because they did beat us fair and square. There was no ifs or graces about it. They did. I'm surprised they're that far down the league. To be honest, it's strange. I don't know what's happened behind the scenes. Again, when we had the Jackson and Stuart Malcolm came in. But
Forfar team, where's it gone wrong this season?
It's difficult. Well, I mean, we had a bit of a sticky part in the middle, and then what's his name?
Jim
Weir, that's what it is. Yeah, Jim Weir departed. He was in the middle of a car crash, and I think the injuries kind of kept up with him. He was kind of a bit stunned by that, and it kind of translated into how he managed the team. So he agreed to part ways after, I think it was a home defeat. So then we brought in Stuart Malcolm, old centre half from East Kilbride. He won the league with East Kilbride last year, came in the middle of that season. But it's been difficult, and there was a huge player turnover in January as well. We had 8 going out and 6 coming in. So I think with the new manager, it was maybe quite hard to turn the team around. But I think we were, like I say, we were probably still stay up in this. We're in dire straits at the bottom. But yeah, it's impossible to know that now. But yeah.
But you'll admit that the vote has worked out pretty well for the Forfar. You can't really deny that one, Patty, yeah?
I think so, because, I mean, you could have argued we could have got more money if we'd stayed longer, because we might have leapfrogged Peterhead into 8, but we might be talking a few £100 with that. And yeah, I would have fancied us to stay up in the playoff, given the teams below. We'll go on to that in just a second, but yeah, I think the votes worked out okay, considering that we weren't in great form, and it is a little bit of money in the club as well. So that's the way it is, and it's quite. The other point I would probably want to bring up is Stranraer, although the vote in favour would have meant they were relegated, they're in a pretty dire financial situation as well. They constantly had to refill the club's players and bring the youth system, and they were talking about them potentially going bust. Got one of the smallest crowds in the Football League as well. So would there have been a suggestion they might have said yes? We don't know. I don't know. As far as I'm aware, 3 of the 20 teams voted against it. So I don't know. But
even if they do get a bit of money though, like how much are they getting? If Forfar are getting 3 and a bit thousand, then Stranraer are getting even less than that. Like that's pennies.
Yeah, I know it's a fair point, but if it's something that would have potentially kept the club afloat, even if they had to restart in League 2, it's a fair. It
shows how different it is in Scotland. You know what I mean? Like going down these tiers and stuff like that. And I just wonder if the SFA would be able to like. Surely it's bad for business if you've got clubs that are teetering right on the edge of like going financially bust. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's what they used in the vote is you can't get your money until this is voted through, and I think that's where the sticking point is for the SPFL with that vote. I think everybody's claiming they were sold a false promise and that they had to vote it through to get their money released, and it comes out that they can get loans, which can then be paid back on the back of when it is finished. So it's not a good position to be. I think the SPFL need to do more to support their member clubs, because at the end of the day, if they don't have member clubs, then there's no point. There's no SPFL. So there's a lot to come out from what happened. I think there will be an inquest into it, but it's not good for football. You're right. It's not at all.
It's not good for the Scottish game either, because you say,
at a time like this, when football really is secondary to everything that's going on, to have this debate is actually quite embarrassing for the game.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, you've got an average of about 800 people dying a day in the UK. It's embarrassing that we're talking about.
At best, it's keeping us busy. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's about it. Like there's no other relevance to it. There's no other real importance to it other than it's keeping us busy.
Yeah.
Right. And about it. But
do you know what? I think what the SFA tried to do, and you know how like they had the updates on BBC Sport and stuff like that. I think they were trying to really like entertain. It feels like it's almost like an entertainment stunt going wrong. Do you know that? Mm-hmm. Because these sort of votes are usually like behind closed doors. You never hear about it until it's actually done. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't remember ever seeing something like that so publicly discussed. And I think like that's what they've maybe tried to do is like entertain folk during quarantine or something like that, just maybe from an outside perspective, and it's just like sort of blown up in their face in the sense that
I think it's more they had a clear outcome that they wanted and they were doing anything they want to get that basically, and that was including sort of hinting at Dundee, you better kind of vote this way please, and that's the reality I would say.
I've heard murmurings that Dundee have been offered friendlies on the back of their vote and stuff like that. So
there's been a lot of offers, bribes, potentially. Don't know.
Loan players. James Forrest playing Dundee next season.
flatterer at it. It wouldn't surprise me if the SFA was at it. That's all I'm going to say.
Quickly before we go on to the next point, we'll need to just quickly go through League Two. Cove Rangers were 13 points clear at the top of the league. Edinburgh City were by far and away ahead in second place, but were 13 points behind the top. They did have a game in the hand. We all agree Cove Rangers were probably the best team to go up League Two.
Aye, I think so. I have to admit, below the championship, I really don't care what's going on, so I'm just kind of just sitting on the bench here going, yeah, I agree. But no, I think
Paul Hartley at the helm.
Cove Rangers are, I think, absolutely stomping it. Interesting fact, played against Cove Rangers at under 15s.
Good to know.
Interesting.
I think they
all the way to the Highlands,
deserve to have been.
and I got 5 minutes at the end.
Here's a question for you then, right? Do we all agree that Cove Rangers were going to be going up from that league that deserve to go up?
Aye.
Yeah.
Right. How is that any different to the SPL or the Premier?
If I'm an Edinburgh City fan, I'm saying no.
Well, that's the equivalent to the Rangers fans as well, isn't it? There's your argument is that if you believe Cove should go up, then you believe Celtic should be champions as well.
It's the exact same point in the season. Exactly the same games played between first and second. It's the exact same points. You've got Celtic. Celtic 8 games left to play. Rangers had 9. Cove have got 8. Edinburgh City got 9. And it's 13 points different. So, you know.
Aye, but how many old firms have they both got to play?
Sorry?
How many old firms have they got to play?
Well, this is it. I mean, there's probably going to be one time that Cove and Edinburgh City will play, given that there's one more round of fixtures to go. But,
mate, Edinburgh City's turned into the Hibs reserves. Alex Harris, Danny Hamlin. From the level, boys! Woo!
You could argue they've tapped into the Hearts reserves with Craig Beattie hanging around for a while.
Christ.
What a player. You got a game for Hearts at the moment.
And then we'd probably argue the luckiest. We'll say the luckiest team to emerge out of this is the bottom side in League Two, who were potentially on track for back-to-back relegations in Brecon City. 7 points adrift of Albion Rovers, and Albion Rovers also had a game in hand, so it could have been 10.
Back-to-back relegations, Patty.
Yep, exactly. Back-to-back relegations.
Back. 3. Aye. Championship, League 1, League 2.
I forgot about that. And you could have argued, we'll probably put this into the next point. Looking at how we've got Kelly Hearts were crowned champions after their season was finished in the Lowland League. And was it Broder Rangers in the Highland League?
That's right.
Yeah. So they would have played the Pyramid Playoff, and the winner would have been playing Brecon. Who would we have? Well, I don't know a huge amount about how Broder Rangers have played, but I know the Highland League is quite competitive. I know, Laser, you've watched a fair bit of Kelly Hearts. You kept an eye on them through the non-league and the lower league. But you probably would have fancied either of those teams to be Brecon, potentially.
I would think so. I don't know much about Brecon, but you look at.
I've played against David.
Any good, Cammy?
Actually, I got 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes, so.
They must have been shocking then if you played 20 minutes against them.
They played Brecon twice.
Under 15s or 16s or something. Do not be fooled.
So I've kind of decided to merge that into one because we talked about it's obviously fairly hard done by it. Both of those teams haven't got a chance to potentially join the Football League.